Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Hello everyone.
Yes, so I see a lot of people connected already. And so I wanted to wish you a very warm welcome. Just to make sure Kinan and I are not the only one to hear, could someone just confirm that they are hearing us? So I think maybe this has started. So hi everyone. I'm very pleased to host today webinar about Pay by Bank, powered by Lemonway. We are going to start in a couple of seconds. I will be hosting this webinar together with Kinan, who is our API support engineer, myself leading the commercial and marketing department. And as I see already quite some people being connected, we are already more than 30 currently, so I will be starting the presentation. Please feel free to send any questions in the chat box or in the question also section, and we will be answering them either by chat as well or taking them online. Thanks, everyone. So let's start. As you may have seen through different communications, Lemonway have just released what we call Pay by Bank option, which is a new way to process your bank transfer, a much more modern, a much smoother way of processing bank transfer within your marketplaces. And I'm going to explain you in the details what it means, how does that work, and Kinan will start explaining you what it takes to implement such a solution. So slide number 3, here it's a very simplistic map process of how things are working. You are marketplace operator having different customers, the payers. They are coming to your marketplaces, so you considered as our partners, and you will have integrated the Lemonway PISP solution. I'll get back on that, which is powered by Tink. This is the supplier we've selected to make such an offering that will be directly connected to the banks and their different API to be able to offer a pay by bank, a PISP value prop. So this is really how things are working. You as a marketplace need to integrate the Lemonway features, giving access to such a capacities. So if we take one step back and we look at the landscape, thanks to the PSD2 and the open banking, I would say, dimension, you have now 2 new players on the market. The first new players are what we call AISP, which stands for Account Information Service Provider, meaning that these are providers that give you visibility on the information. How much do you have on a bank account? What are the different transactions you've made? And you've got a second type of player, which are called PISP, Payment Initiation Service Provider. Some of the players are both, and this is the choice we've made with Tink, because they have the 2 capacities, AISP and PISP. What we've done at Lemonway is that so far, at this point in time, we have integrated their PISP capacities, payment initiation. So this is important for your, I would say, own culture and your own understanding that you see the differences between the 2 players, understanding that at the moment, the solution we are providing is covering the PISP part. We are going to be able, and you are going to be able to initiate payment through these features. So hope it's clear. To who I would say these features is bringing value. Obviously, this is bringing value for what we call financial marketplaces. Why? Because financial marketplaces are having as a majority of payments bank transfer. This is also valid for B2C marketplaces selling product or services, because even if they see a minority of bank transfer, this percentage of transactions tends to grow. And with such a, I would say, user experiences should be growing even more in the coming months and years. So the features we are serving, we're providing is fit for financial marketplaces, B2C product and service marketplaces. Why not yet completely for B2B marketplaces? Because the banks who are connected through our PISP provider, Tink, tends to be much more connected on retail banking, individual banking side, more than businesses side. There are some banks who have the same API for their business accounts and for their private accounts. In such a case, of course, this would work. But it is much more valid at this point in time for you if you operate with financial marketplaces, crowdfunding, crowdlending, equity, or for you as a B2C product or services marketplaces. Again, I hope it's clear. Please feel free to send any questions on the chat box. Getting into how does that look like, and we are going to support our speech with a video in a couple of slides, but let me drive you through. The first box on the left part of the screen is your environment, your website, your marketplace. The customer is going to select bank transfer with pay by bank options. Then the next step, the customer is going to be offered the choice of his bank, because the banks needs to be connected. So let us take BNP Paribas as an example. Once the customer clicks on the bank, BNP Paribas, he is going to be directly redirected to a well-designed page, which is going to ask his IDs and password to make sure he is correctly identified in his banking environment. Once he gets access to his banking environment, he will have a pre-filled information with the right amount, with the right pre-filled codes, and he will just have to click accept or pay now. And then the payment will be successfully managed, and the customer is going to be pushed back on your marketplace environment. So what is critical to understand here is that once the customer has clicked on your website, he will be directly redirected on his bank. On his bank, he will be requested password and IDs. Then the bank transfer will be automatically pre-filled. You will have to click and then will be redirected again. So I hope it's clear. I see questions, but I also see Kinan answering, and so happy to take it later if answer of Kinan is not being provided. But I see Kinan as answer. So let me share a video with you that you understand the journey. Can you see my screen, Kinan?
Yes, I can see your screen.
And you will see the video. So I'm coming back to you, guys. I hope you've seen it correctly, because there is a little bit of screen change. Let me reshare my screen. Okay, so back with you and moving on to the benefits of the solution. So looking at the end user, the customer, the payer, for him, it's going to be a much better user experiences because he does not have to go to a different screen, log in with ID and password that he may not have with him. He will have to pre-fill, I would say, the codes that you are going to send him for the transaction. So everything here is going to be integrated and much smoother. The second element is that sometimes, as you may know, with cards, you have some challenges. Cards has a lot of plus, but there are also a couple of challenges, and one of them being the payment ceiling or the expiration date. Thus, with the Pay by Bank, you can have a great UX while also having the benefits of the bank transfer. In terms of fraud for the payer, it's also extremely reassuring because he's going to be redirected. He will have to log in. And so he will feel that he's completely under control of the environment and should have zero risk of fraud. So these are the benefits for the payer. For you, you as Lemonway customer, you as a marketplace, you are going to provide a payment solutions on your website, which is going to improve the conversion rate. Because the UX is much better, the conversion should be higher. We don't have statistics yet. This is something we will try to track and steer, but by the only UX, this is something that is reassuring us in giving you a better conversion rate. You also have, I would say, in a way, a safer payment solutions because bank transfer are irrevocable, meaning that once the bank transfer is being made, there is no risk of chargeback as you may have on a credit card. From an operational standpoint, this is also much better because today we as a payment establishment, but you also as a customer may have a challenge in reconciling transactions because of a missing matching code or missing information. As everything is being pre-filled, this is going to offer a much more, I would say, reliable solution in crediting. Concretely speaking, this is very easy and fast because you do not have to integrate a PSPs like Lemonway and have a second discussion and a second integration with a pay by bank or a PISP provider. We consolidate the value prop and you only have one interface, Lemonway, being able to provide the overall services. This is also European services. You see here a couple of countries, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and Portugal, where the solution is live. I will be happy to take some of your questions in terms of coverage. We've made a choice of selecting Tink because Tink is today the market leader in terms of coverage. While this is not covering 100% of the European banks, because this is still a work in progress, the coverage of Tink is extremely wide, giving you the capacities to offer these services to a maximum of customers. Before I give the mic to Kinan for more, I would say, integration and potential IT-related discussions, let me summarize a bit what I've just said. You have today two options. Either you go with a standard bank transfer, where you have benefits, but also a couple of clawbacks or challenges, especially in terms of UX, in terms of crediting challenges, or you go to the pay by bank, which is offering a much better UX and also a much higher crediting rate. offering much better operational efficiency gains. On top of it, as you have noticed, or you may have been approached by the Lemonway sales team, we are also offering the virtual IBAN option. This virtual IBAN option is still bringing value currently for banks coverage than the pay by bank may not be offering yet, allowing you to have a direct crediting through a dedicated IBAN on a payment account. So this is the overall bank transfer value prop that we are proposing to you, and I will be happy to take up your questions while I give you, Kinan, the lead on the presentation.
Yes, hello everyone. We are going to, I'm going to explain you how technically we need to implement our solution. So we have two API calls, one to get the bank list, and the second one to initiate the payment with a bank ID, which was provided before with the get bank list. And when you redirect the final user to the existing web view, he will have to choose his bank. That's the first option. The second option is you redirect your client to directly to the bank, to his own bank. For that, we need to precise the bank ID. So two possibilities: precise the bank ID or not precise the bank ID. And as well for the customization, it's possible to change the colors and the button and the text. You will have to send us the RGB colors for that. And please note, it's not possible to test this in Sandbox, so it's only in production. You won't be able to test this in Sandbox. We can move on to, unless you have some questions about this slide, don't hesitate. We can move on to the next slide, Martin.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, so I will explain again what I have said. So, two API calls. Of course, you will have to, this solution, the Pay by Bank solution, is only compatible with REST API. So for those who are using the SOAP API, so I see in the people connected, so some of us are still using the SOAP API. So you will need to integrate our REST API. It's possible to use both. It's not necessary to change everything. So just using the REST API for the Pay by Bank calls. This is something you need to know. And so to repeat again, you get the bank list, the first one. The second one, you initiate the payment, and you will send you an URL, and you will redirect the user with this URL, and he will land on the bank, on his bank website. He will be able to strongly authenticate, and then we will send you a notification on a webhook URL. So the webhook URL, you precise it on the second API call, the one to initiate the payment. So you will send us a webhook URL. So we will send you a notification about the status of the transaction. So so Elena, just before she asked us if the funds will be automatically credited. Actually, not really. It will be authorized. And so that means the client strongly authenticate on his mobile app, or also on his mobile app. So it will be authorized, and every day at 10:30 we do like a reconciliation, and we switch the transaction to success. So and then the funds will be received by Lemonway. But you can consider the transaction is a success when it is authorized. So it's like instantaneously, I would say. I'm just looking at the question.
It's okay, Kenan. I take the question. So
so far, so good. And yes, something I wanted to say you about the notification you will receive. We will check like 5 minutes after the transaction initiated, and 1 hour after if we don't receive any return from the client. So the transaction will be in a pending status and move to error if 1 hour after we got no reply. So we can move on to the next one. Okay. So yes, so 3 steps, I would say, which is divided by some actions on our side. So first step is to contact your account manager or your customer success officer, who will gather some information about your marketplace and the number of customers you are expecting, and a launch date. And the second step is the configuration with our different departments. So we do some configuration in our side and as well as with our provider, Tink. And we will grant you access to the sandbox so you can do your test. And finally, once you are happy with your test, we can roll out this solution on the production environment. And the payment will be available for all clients KYC2 only. So that's it. So I know, Martin, you are, I think there is a lot of questions about API. Maybe you can move on to the next slide, and I can have a look at the question. I mean, some of us are related to the API integration.
Yes, Kenan. So I think the question was how complex it is or how difficult it is. And so, Elena, here the answer is you need to review the doc. You need to engage with our team, and then it will take you a couple of hours/days just to integrate those calls, those API calls. This is what we are doing at the moment. We have dozens of customers that have bought these features, and we are under implementation at the moment. Kenan or someone within Kenan team will be dedicated to you to answer your questions and drive you through the integration. So yes, there is some work to be done, but it's highly guided by the team and it's very limited in terms of resources. Maybe let me take up again one point on B2C versus B2B and also on the coverage, because I see a lot of questions on the coverage. Coverage was indeed a core element for us. This is why we've made a complete benchmark of the solution. We've selected the one with the widest coverage. But in this new world, widest coverage does not mean 100% of coverage, because this is a work in progress. The banks are opening up their API and the PISP are connecting to them. So with our solution, you have the widest coverage, which is going to be enriched weeks after weeks, months after months. And there are already banks which are not only the leading banks in the core countries which are connected. There are Dutch banks, there are Nordics banks, there are banks from all over Europe which are connected. And the team of Tink is working hard in connecting them further. So that's the coverage. And then the 2C or the 2B, when the banks have the same API for B2C or B2B, we are connected with the B2C ones, and thus we can serve the B2B ones. If the banks have two APIs, there is high chances that we are connected with the 2C one and not yet with the 2B, because Tink is approaching the 2B right after the 2C. So I hope it answers your questions, but I'm trying to be very reassuring in terms of coverage, because that was exactly the way we've addressed the topic with our product team and benchmarking the supplier. We still have 4 minutes to go. I see questions. No, I think this is clear. So the video is going to be shared with you guys in a couple of days. The support is going to be, the deck is going to be shared with you as well by email. Please engage. I think there is one next slide with my contact details here. I will be happy to receive any of your questions, and either I will take them personally or I will redirect to the team. We hope that we'll be equipping you guys with Pay by Bank as much as we can, and with a lot of success. So please feel free to engage with us. Thanks a lot for your hello Antoine. Yes, pricing. Yes, we do have a pricing. There is a monthly fees, which is at I will disclose it offline, but which is very limited. And then we come with a fixed commission on top of the bank transfer. And so, Antoine, happy to channel that to your account manager, and he will share those elements with you. But they are very limited pricing that comes on top with your existing ones. Wishing you a fantastic week, guys. At least in Paris, the sky is blue, and wishing you a nice day, and staying in touch if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.